World War II, the most devastating war in human history. Hitler and his Nazi regime attempted to take over the entire world. And in the process, he rounded up, tortured, and killed millions. Over 60 million people died, attempting to bring Hitler's vision of the world into reality, and fighting to stop it. The actions of this one man irrevocably changed the course of human history.
Jesus here. Just want to let you all know that Hitler did absolutely nothing wrong. He only wanted to act upon God's will. Don't worry though, he stands beside God now. He is in heaven. That's all, folks. Jesus out.
Deutschland is happy and gay. We're marching to a faster pace. Look out, here comes the master race.
Okay, so I'm a little bit late to this subject. Mostly because I've been sick for the past couple of weeks. And I've been really lazy. So I'm not really going to go into the aftermath of these jokes. If you want to get an idea of the full story, links are down in the description. Instead, I want to talk about why jokes like this work, and jokes like this don't. Now, there have been a lot of articles and videos talking about what happened, but I haven't seen any of them covering this specifically. Also, I'm obviously the most qualified person to be talking about this. So let's do something that PewDiePie obviously never took time to do. Learn how to tell a fucking joke! So most jokes work on just two parts. It's the setup.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
And the payoff.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
The humor comes from subverting the pattern that's created. And that's where the art is. It's in creating the pattern and then subverting it properly. And in all forms of comedy, there are examples of when it's done right.
Whoa! Hey, you're coming awful fast. How you doing? Look out! I've got cat-like speed and reflexes.
And when it's done poorly.
All right.
All right. Gary Sophie, come on, guys. $1.
$1.
$1's the winner.
Good luck to you.
So the jokes that PewDiePie made were a combination of satire and shock humor. And the problem here is that it's really easy to be lazy when it comes to making these kinds of jokes. Especially when it comes to shock humor. That's because the surprise is based on doing something that's taboo. But when it's done right, it can be amazing.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Man, I don't even have an opinion.
Well, you gotta have an opinion. I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped us?
What the fuck's happening? Oh,
man.
shit, man.
Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
Why the fuck you do that?
Well, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
And when it's done wrong, it's just fucking cringy.
Hey, Jill, can I talk to you for a second? No! My bags are packed and there's nothing left to say.
Now, despite the fact that the first example was much more extreme than the second, it works in every way. This scene is amazingly crafted. The sudden turn from a mundane conversation into a car full of gore is surprising. It's ironic because that conversation that they're having is about a very unlikely shooting that they both survived, unlike Marlon, who was killed in a very unlikely way. The sheer amount of gore is funny and unexpected. I mean, look at that. There are brains in Samuel L. Jackson's hair, But it's hilarious because he's unaffected by it. In fact, both of them seem relatively unfazed. They're more concerned about how it's going to be a pain in the ass to get this fixed, rather than the fact that they just murdered somebody.
I didn't mean to do it as an accident.
Oh, man, I seen some crazy ass shit in my time, but this...
Chill out, man. I told you it was an accident. You went over a bump or
Hey,
something.
the car ain't hit no motherfucking bump.
Hey, look, man, I didn't mean to shoot the son of a bitch. The gun went off. I don't know why.
Well, look at this fucking mess, man.
If they reacted by screaming or vomiting or showing normal human emotion, it wouldn't be as funny. It would make us empathize with them. Now, what's funny about this scene? It's just the sounds and the fact that poop smells bad. Anyone can just say something shocking or do something gross. You might laugh at it, but that doesn't make it a good joke. Jokes generally are at the expense of somebody else, specifically in these two types of genres. And the object of ridicule here is important. That's why a poor old woman falling downstairs isn't funny, but a rich man falling downstairs is. This is referred to as punching up and punching down. You don't want to punch down because that's taking advantage of a person or group that is already disadvantaged. But punching up is funny because it's taking someone from a position of power and pulling them down to our level.
Free comedy tip, Slick. The pie gag's only funny when the saps got dignity. Like that guy. Hey, Hal, pie job for Lord Autumnbottom there.
Oh dear.
It's even better if that person is flaunting their power, or if their power is undeserved. When considering this, a good example is rape jokes. In the wake of Daniel Tosh's joke at a heckler that it would be funny if she was gang raped, there was a lot of discussion about this. And the key here is where that proverbial punch is going.
Pepe's become kind of a symbol.
And I think George Carlin said it best.
Like rape, they'll say, you can't joke about rape. Rape's not funny. I say, fuck you, I think it's hilarious. How do you like that? I can prove to you that rape is funny. Picture Porky Pig raping Elmer Fudd. See, hey, why do you think they call him Porky, huh? I know what you're gonna say. Elmer was asking for it. Elmer was coming on to Porky. Porky couldn't help himself. He got a hard on. He got horny. He lost control. He went out of his mind. A lot of men talk like that. A lot of men think that way. They think it's the woman's fault. They like to blame the rape on the woman. Say, hey, she had it coming. She was wearing a short skirt. These guys think women ought to go to prison for being cock teasers. Don't seem fair to me. Don't seem right. But you can joke about it. I believe you can joke about anything. It all depends on how you construct the joke. What the exaggeration is. What the exaggeration is.
And the same general idea applies to Nazis and Hitler. Not just in comedy. Nazi imagery has been used across all forms of media. But what's important is how they're cast. In Star Wars, the Empire pulls strongly from Nazi imagery. But they're the fucking bad guys. We're not supposed to side with them. And in this context, I think Mel Brooks said it best.
When I first did the film, rabbis galore. I just got every rabbi in New York sent me a letter. Think twice before you do another thing that's, And I wrote back to every single letter I got explaining you can't get on a soapbox with Hitler. You've got to ridicule him you got to bring him down with laughter. There's no way to get even.
Yeah.
And try to make them understand, what the real intent of the Springtime for Hitler number was all about.
So now with all that under our hats, let's look at PewDiePie's jokes. So is there good setup and payoff here? And who is he punching at? So in his apology video, Felix said that the intention was to make fun of people who would do and say crazy things for just $5. So one of the people that he's punching is obviously the people who said these things. But even he realized that that wasn't going to be the only group of people that was going to be affected by these jokes. In the original video, he tries to preempt people criticizing the fact that he, an incredibly rich person, is taking advantage of people on this website, who I'm guessing don't make a lot of money off of it and really need the money. One other thing that he didn't seem to consider, though, is that when you say Hitler did nothing wrong, you're also affecting all the people who were directly impacted by the actions of Hitler. So the premise isn't that bad. If you wanted to prove that they would say ridiculous things, maybe pick something that wouldn't directly affect millions of people. Now I think the second joke is even worse, mostly because it compounds on that former problem. I mean, I might be wrong here. These two Indian guys might actually be crazy rich, but I highly doubt that. One other thing to keep in mind here, and I don't want to shit on him for having a young audience. There's nothing wrong with that. Young people fucking need entertainment, and they find him entertaining. But when you have a young audience, that comes with certain responsibilities. I think one of the most damning statements that he said in his apology video was that my audience understood the joke. The problem here is that the point of the joke was shitty, and it was delivered in an unfunny way. The fact that his young audience found this funny and flocked to defend him shows that they don't understand or care about what was wrong with what he did. If he made shitty jokes to an older audience, it would still be bad, but not as bad. They would dismiss it as a joke in poor taste. And I don't want to generalize all young people here, but
That's why you're still kids, 'cause you're stupid.
Generally, they're less likely to think about or understand what's wrong with jokes like these. The offensiveness aside, it's teaching them to like unfunny jokes. Adam Sandler's already destroying comedy on his own. He doesn't need your help, Felix. So hopefully the gaming community and YouTube personalities have learned something from this. Hopefully they're going to give more thoughts to ideas before they express an opinion on it.
Who doesn't want to take refugees? It's a great humanitarian thing to do.
Starbucks, pulls their dicks out and is like, oh, we'll hire 10,000 immigrants, and that's just marketing at its worst.
In my opinion, it's borderline treason. It's like, wow, you're going to favor people who come from a different place, might be hostile to our country, and over the people who the country, the nation that built you. I think it's borderline treason. It pisses me the fuck off every time I see it.
Who doesn't want to take refugees? It's a great humanitarian thing to do.
You're telling me that there are riots all over Europe and riots all over Sweden? No, they're not. They're not.
You can't make the argument that whites should be okay with them being becoming a minority in the countries that their ancestors built if it doesn't apply to other countries. What is it that's so offensive about white people saying they would like to preserve their demographic majority? I don't understand. It always gets into these semantics.
Italians, Polish people, Irishmen wouldn't have been considered even white people, let alone Americans, right?
I don't know that is just a myth. That's not true. They were considered white. You seen the Irish are like the whitest people around. The hell, that's just a fucking myth.
The court system disproportionately, even when controlling for socioeconomic factors, sentences black people typically for harsher sentences compared to white people, even when you control for the crimes. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
You're saying, I mean, this is just ridiculous. The status quo thinks that the only logical conclusion to the country to atone for the sins of the white past is to keep letting in people from the third world until white people are a minority. And that's what's happening. So if you can deny it all you want, but that's what's happening. I feel like you're trying to catch me in some sort of racist gotcha. But they don't actually want to talk about what's causing black lives in America to be affected, which is young black males.
What's the problem with young black males?
Well, they commit disproportionate amount of crime in the country. Wealthy blacks also commit more crime than poor whites. That's a fact.
Wait, what?
Yeah, look it up. So I suppose that's why, the crime rates are pretty consistent across Africa too.
So people like you are why BLM exists. What you just said was like so mind-numbingly like arrogant. Like, do you think they just do it because they're black? Because the negroid skull
No.
like predisposes them to crime? Well, then why did you laugh there when I asked you that? Black
Because
people,
I don't want to incriminate myself, but we've been hearing this single motherhood thing for decades, and it's getting a bit tired. I think that's why you're seeing this rise in all these quote-unquote Nazis. Discrimination is wrong. We have gotten rid of discrimination in our Western countries. That's fine.
No, we haven't. What do you mean?
If you don't think we've gotten rid of discrimination, you're living in a fantasy land.
How do you explain things like the voter ID laws in North Carolina, or how do you?
What's voter ID laws in North Carolina? Get out of here with that.
What?
All right,
Get out of here with what?
People like me are supposed to listen to people like you chatter on about this oppression in America. It doesn't exist.
I look at this, they're asking me to not be logical. I'm like, but guys, women aren't oppressed. You have every right. We just want to level out the playing field. And I'm like, what does that mean? Are you going to take something from white people? Are you going to give it, Robin Hood it to other people? This man who tweets this, I'm saying, so you would prefer that black people in Southside Chicago, innocent people, or thugs are innocent, die because you want to virtue signal about quote unquote fascism.
Yeah.
You don't actually care about these people's lives. You just say you do.
Rip my career. All right, see you guys.
Fuck. Hey, thanks for watching the video. As of right now, I hit my first 100 subscribers, so I want to give a big thank you for everyone who's put up with my content, and who's liked, shared, and commented on my videos. That helps drive traffic to my channel and get more subscribers. Hint, hint. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.